not talking about Jeb Bush using not state.gov Florida, but his personal email with his own server that didn't get the headlines. The fact is he did nothing wrong. Hillary Clinton did nothing wrong as long as they're preserved and there's nothing to hide.
Welcome into hour number 3 of America's Forum for this Monday with Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth. We just heard former Clinton aide Lanny Davis on MSNBC doing what he seems to do best, defending Hillary Clinton.
This as controversy continues to swirl over her use of a personal email server during her time at the State Department.
Well, joining us now, political analyst Dick Morris, author of the book Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation. Dick, thanks for being here again. So Dianne Feinstein goes out on Meet the Press yesterday, and she says Hillary needs to get this information out.
Yeah, well, she does. The problem with what Lanny was saying is that the governor of Florida does not have access to classified information. And there's a little bit wrong. It violates a regulation to take your computer home. But if there's classified information, and you got to assume with Secretary of State there's legions of it, that then is illegal, and it's a serious illegal. Petraeus, Sandy Berger, former National Security Advisor, John Deutsch, head of the CIA, all have been prosecuted and convicted of that, and they've been punished. And it is very possible that if there's classified emails on the server that Hillary used in her home, that she could be indicted and knocked out of the presidential race. So the metaphor with the governor of Florida is far-fetched. Now, Feinstein's challenge to get it all out there is a very difficult one. First of all, Hillary doesn't want to be admitting a crime, and her lawyers are undoubtedly telling her to shut up about it and not talk about it, even as her political aides make clear that she has to. Once those emails make their way to the State Department and then to Gowdy's committee, they're going to be released drop by drop by drop over the coming weeks and months and years into 16, and will, I think, prove very, very damaging to her candidacy.
There are still some questions being raised on whether or not she broke a rule or broke a law.
Depends on whether it's classified. If there's classified material in what she did, she broke a law, a serious law. If it's just how are you doing and what's up with the kids, that's not classified, and it's a rule and a regulation, but it's not a law.
And then some people are also wondering if, she's already said, go ahead, here are some of my emails, but there's a question is whether or not she's actually handing over all of those emails. Why isn't she just giving them her server?
Starting in December, 3 months ago, Hillary's lawyers negotiated with the State Department about what they would and would not turn over. And then the State Department has to negotiate with Gowdy's committee and the FOI requests on what is or isn't relevant. So this has a long way to go. And you have to assume that, look, I just counted the other day. I send about 150 emails a day. So 55,000 for a year would be about right for me. Over 4 years, and she's Secretary of State, a little bit busier than I am, I think that you can be safe in concluding there's a lot that's not there.
You mentioned the drip, drip, drip factor of releasing emails, etc. Dianne Feinstein yesterday on Meet the Press, and I want to go back to this, is this the start of the change from within the party to either put this out, Hillary, or go bye-bye? In other words, as we were talking last week, does this make way for Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah, I think that it's more than make way. I think that Elizabeth Warren, until now, has been saying, I don't want to run, I'm for Hillary, she'd be a great president, I'm supporting her, I'm not going to undermine her, because she's worried about being hated by the party if she does that. But now it's a different situation. It isn't just that Hillary's a candidate, she's the only candidate the Democrats really have. And if she doesn't run, they run Bernie Sanders. They have a blank ballot, in effect. And therefore, I think that more and more people are going to come to Elizabeth Warren and saying, just in case something happens, please put your name on the ballot. And with the filing deadlines approaching in October and November, if you're not on the primary ballot by then, you can't go and you can't get nominated. Remember, delegates don't have a choice. They're bound by the votes in their convention, their state, at least on the first ballot. So I think that there will be a growing pressure on Warren to at least say, you can put my name on the ballot. I'm for Hillary. Kind of like Jerry Ford was when they named him vice president under Nixon. I love Nixon. I think he's great. I think he should stay in office. I hate the impeachment, but just in case you do, I'm vice president.
Interesting, almost a vice nominee. Hey, we're going to talk more with Dick Morris, but in the interim...
No, Hillary is the vice nominee.
Oh, I the vice, yeah, very good. Dick Morris's book, Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for One-Party Nation. Stay with us.
Each individual employee has a responsibility under the federal regulations to preserve their own records. With a State Department account or a personal account, when you walk out the door, it is your responsibility to provide those.
There's a difference because...
But there was no time, right,
there's
that was colloquial,
because
Josh.
in a FOIA request...
Thank you for fact-checking me live and instantaneously during my press
in a
briefing.
FOIA
You should come more
request
often, I like
or
it.
Marie Harf of the State Department during a press briefing about Hillary Clinton's use of personal email. Let's continue our conversation with our friend Dick Morris. Dick, Marie Harf, she's had enough trouble, but trying to come out and defend Hillary, that could be a task too far for her.
Well, I was struck by what Obama said yesterday, where he came out with the most tepid defense you can imagine. He said, my administration has been a model of transparency and integrity. That's why we require everybody to use the government email so that it's transparent. I'll only say about this that Hillary was a great Secretary of State for me. Good. And just a very, very faint praise.
How does this complicate things for her intent to run for, which we all believe she's going to run for president? How does this complicate matters
Well, it
for her?
paralyzes her. She can't declare now. She can't stand up at a press conference and say, hey, I'm running, give me money, vote for me, because she'll be deluged with questions that her lawyers won't let her answer. And you can't get up there and say, I am announcing my candidacy for president. I refuse to answer any questions because they might tend to incriminate me.
Well, mindful of that, when does Mrs. Clinton decide that now at this stage of life with a new grandbaby, it's time to go to private life and be a grandma and a former first lady?
Oh, it would require a lobotomy. Hillary has been so focused on running for so many years, and her ambition is so huge. I think you got to look here at legal requirements, the filing deadlines. But I think that what you're going to see is not just one trajectory of Hillary dropping. You'll see another trajectory of the impatience of the Democratic Party. Hillary is dropping, and then you have the impatience of the Democratic Party rising. And at some point those lines cross, and when they cross, all eyes turn to Elizabeth Warren. And then Warren becomes an acquired taste. The Democrats say, hey, we could nominate the first woman president. We could have an out-and-out liberal, and there are a lot of issues where I like Warren more than Hillary, but I've kept it inside because it's our duty to unite behind Hillary. And you can just see the momentum shifting on this. And the problem is that the email scandal is 20 different scandals. It's the Benghazi scandal. It's why we were in Libya in the first place. It's did those arms go to the Syrian rebels, ultimately to ISIS? What was the story in terms of our dealings with Iran and our dealings with Israel? It puts her in the middle of the NSA scandal, probably, because it might indicate that she knew about all the wire intercepts. It puts her in the middle of with the decision to pull out of Iraq, the decision to go against Mubarak that led to the Muslim Brotherhood takeover of Egypt. There are so many issues that will be exposed in these emails that will cause a frenzy of a long period of time of issues, and particularly since it is the Republicans that will control the spigot through the House committee. A scandal that would have been a 15 scandal will now become a 16 scandal, and she'll be dodging subpoenas on the way to primary night.
Is there any way, any chance whatsoever she can survive this?
Yeah, sure there is. You don't really know what's in those emails. You don't know that she has classified material there. I'm assuming it because of her job, and it could be that there's not. But at the moment, it does not look good for her. And Hillary's has always said, scandal, time heals scandal. You just wait and it goes away. But here she can't wait beyond October and November of this year, because those are the filing deadlines.
You know both Mrs. Clinton and the former president quite well. Does the former First Lady have the same tenacity of her spouse?
Oh, vastly more. Bill Burr's tenacity from Hillary. But you know, you can be tenacious. It just depends on whether it's possible to stay there.
And we will continue to watch what happens. And just one other quick note, as you were showing the impatience of Democrats and the problems that Hillary has, do you want to put a month on that or a filing deadline?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
there a specific date?
Filing deadlines are October and November. And if you're not on the ballot, you're not running in 50 states. And as that approaches, there's going to be a frenzy. But again, I believe there'll be a halfway house. There'll be, I'm not running for Elizabeth Warren. Then it'll be, you can put my name on the ballot, but I'm not running. Then it'll be, I'm running.
And one guy who continues to comment and write is our friend Dick Morris. You can get your copy of his best-selling book, Power Grab, by visiting this website, powergrab411.com. Our thanks to Mr. Morris for dropping in again, and America's Forum continues right after this.